The Biden administration cautioning Israel about escalation in response to yet another attack. This one, a rocket attack from Lebanon that murdered 12 kids and teens who were outside playing soccer. Hezbollah has denied having a role in the recent attack. An official with the Lebanese group allegedly stated they do not want a full-blown war with Israel, but yet they seem to do things that indicate they do. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the site of the rocket attack and stated this: "Our response will come and it will be severe." Joining us to discuss this is Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel, nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Steve. Thank you.
Look, Kamala Harris had a sorority party to go to and skipped the speech by Netanyahu to Congress last week. She did end up meeting with him, but then he also went to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is the best friend that Israel has ever had, as far as the president goes. So he's playing both sides here because he doesn't know who's going to win in November. But these ongoing attacks from Hezbollah, backed by Iran, look, they can't stand forever. At some point, Israel's going to swing back and swing hard, and then all bets are off as far as a wider war, aren't they?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And where's the international condemnation? Remember how everyone came down on Israel with the false accusation that they had actually struck a hospital. Come to find out it was Islamic Jihad that struck that hospital. So, again, the hypocrisy is laughable. But if you recall, there was about last month when the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff here, General Charles Q. Brown, said openly on a Sunday morning program that the United States of America may not be able to support Israel in a two-front operation if it expanded to Hezbollah. Why would we say that? So I think it's very important that we show that support to Israel. And you're right. Donald Trump was the one who followed up and said, we're moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Mahmoud Abbas and all the Islamic jihadists stomped their foot, but nothing happened because they fear strength. And I think that's what they don't see in this current administration.
Yeah, they don't see it there. And I don't think they'll see it with a Kamala Harris administration. I mean, we have to be concerned about Kamala Harris winning this election. I think a lot of Republicans and those that were voting for Donald Trump and despised Joe Biden have dismissed Kamala far too easily. I mean, when you have $500 million to push propaganda, they can move the needle and they can influence people that are low information voters, can they not?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look at one of the first things they tried to do to cover for Vice President Harris. They come out and said, well, she was never appointed a board or czar. And of course, thanks to the Media Research Center, we saw those side-by-side comparisons of news media outlets from 2021 to today that showed them saying that she was the board or czar. Then also you had a CBS, I believe, news reporter up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, saying that she never helped to raise funds to bail people out. But then they went back and showed that exact same reporter was condemning Harris for raising funds to bail out Antifa members and violent protesters. And a couple of those individuals went back and committed murder. So they're going to do everything they can to try to cover for
her. You forgot the fact that she says, I will absolutely ban fracking. That should play well in Pennsylvania, where they're a big energy state. She wants to limit, if not end, the consumption of red meat. I mean, this is all on tape. That's the beauty of the modern day technology. You can play the tapes. She wants to defund police, confiscate guns in an Australian-style gun control move, and private insurance for health care, too. And I mean, this is just a partial list that I jotted some things down before you came on, Colonel. I mean, do people not understand where they want to take this country? Oh, and did I mention packing the Supreme Court so that there's nothing left to defend this country and the Constitution against the interventions of the liberals? I mean, it's very frightening to me.
No, it should be. And then add on top of that universal basic income. So we're basically going to give people money for doing nothing, which is an incredible failure. We've even had pushback on it here in Harris County down in Houston, Texas. But these are the things they're going to try to hide. But the most important thing, Kamala Harris is going to have to get on a debate stage. She's going to have to talk about her part in the failure of the policies of the Biden administration, as well as being part of the defrauding of the American people by coming out and saying that Joe Biden was absolutely fine. And now we come to find out, Steve, that they have not had a cabinet meeting there in the Biden administration since October of last year. So what has Kamala Harris and Joe Biden been doing?
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that. You couldn't put the cabinet together because if the cabinet saw Joe Biden in that condition, they'd go, wait a second. He can't lead the country because it takes the vice president and half of the cabinet to say, we're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. That's what it takes. That's why there's not been a cabinet meeting. But here's the thing. We also know from pretty reliable reporting, Barack Obama got on the phone with Joe Biden and said, look, here's the deal. Either you leave or we're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. We have Kamala Harris's support on this. But Barack Obama, other good reporting, said he wanted Mark Kelly to be top of the ticket. And before that could happen, Joe Biden gave him a little bit of a nudge in the back with a shiv and said, I'm going to endorse Kamala on my way out the door. So it created some chaos. I mean, that's all pretty solid reporting from what I can tell.
Yeah, they really don't have unity there. I mean, they have the knives out for each other. And I think that will end up being very evident to the American people. Look, everything was fine having Joe Biden out there. They continued to see his utility until he completely failed in that debate performance. Now, if Kamala Harris fails in a debate performance, they're too far down the road to do anything about it. And so I think that's why they have some fear and trepidation going forward after their convention.
Alan, it won't matter how badly she performs potentially. Every network will declare her the winner, as will the New York Times and the Washington Post, and they will fawn over her no matter what her performance is. They will fawn over her. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion, isn't it? The propaganda machines of the big networks are going to tell you how great they are, and then they'll just take snippets and clips and put it all over social media. I'm not sure it's a great idea for Donald Trump to debate her. But I don't know that he can't either. Kind of a tough spot.
No, I think he has to. I think he has to debate her. And once again, what he has to do is tie her to the policies of the Biden administration. She cannot get a free pass. She's been there. And as a matter of fact, Joe Biden, even going back to the Afghanistan debacle, she said that she was the last person in the room when Joe Biden made that decision. So she even owns that strategic operational military failure. So I think it's very important to show that she is not a person ready to be commander in chief. She can't be in the room with Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, the Ayatollahs, or Kim Jong-un, or she can't handle and deal with Islamic jihadists, nor the transnational narco-criminal terrorists, because she has been a complete and abject failure being a border czar. So I think you have to bring her out and you have to force her to try to talk about these policies and issues.
Yeah, make her own the policies that she supported. Plus, open borders, endless wars, money to Ukraine when we've got American veterans sleeping on the streets. Colonel, always appreciate you being here. The list could go on for the next 2 hours, you and I, but we'll leave it there for today. Thank you.
God bless. Thanks, Steve.